again for this episode. Not for any reason other than the fact that I was too lazy to bring the chair in here into my room. And I mostly have to record ASMR in my room at this house because in every other area there are like fridge noises or AC noises. So yeah, that's why we're here. That is why we are here. Please bear with me if I seem a little weird. I usually take about 3 minutes to kind of get into my vibe, and I'm kind of self-conscious right now because someone commented something the other day about, what did they say? Oh yeah, they said I need to work on my voice modulation. And obviously I'm still new to this, so I'm not going to speak in the perfect rhythmic way that they might desire, but it does not help for me to be all in my head about it. I prefer to kind of flow naturally and speak in whatever way feels comfortable, while at the same time being aware of it and trying not to, go too much too out of the rhythm. But anyways, it is the week of my birthday. My birthday is on Wednesday, which when you are watching this, if you watch it the day it's uploaded, that will be tomorrow. So yay. I'm recording this episode on Saturday right now. So in this moment, my birthday is 4 days away, and I will be turning 25. Isn't it crazy how fast time flies? I feel like when I was a child, time dragged on, and it took so long. I lived 3 different lifetimes just between the ages of 0 and 12. But yeah, it's a lot has happened in the past 25 years. For me, a lot. But it also seems crazy that I'm already, more than a quarter of the way through my life. Unless, technological advances are made and we can be uploaded to cyborg bodies and have our consciousness live on forever. Or do you follow Brian Johnson? He is a guy on Instagram who is super into living as long as possible, and he has this thing called Don't Die, and yeah, he's very health conscious, which is great, but it's an interesting thing it seems inevitable that at a certain point, obviously, why not see how long we can stretch the lifespan? And, yeah, it's obvious at some point someone's gonna look into that. So it's cool that we live in that day and age. What do you think about that? Does that bother you morally? Do you think that it's only fair that everyone ends? Let me know your opinion. I have the opinion of... I don't have an opinion on that. I'm more open-minded about it. Not to say that you aren't, but meaning like I have no control over whether or not that technological advance is made, and so I'm not going to get butthurt about it either way. Now, if it was something that became popularized and accessible, and when I'm like 45, that was a reasonable thing where you could just choose to opt in to a plan to extend your life by another 100 years, you know, I would probably make that decision based off of vibes. Like, if I felt like I wanted to hang around for that long, you know? Because you never know. When you're old, you might be tired. You might want to find peace. Or you might be down for another 100, 200, 300 years. You always have the option of becoming a vampire. That option is always there. Anyways, I figured I would tell you a story about my worst birthday ever. And then I'll tell you about my best birthday ever. And then after that, I will tell you about what I titled this video. I'll put up timestamps so you can skip around if you want. But my worst birthday ever, that would have to be my 22nd birthday. And let me just set the scene for you. So, I am a person who was married very young, and my marriage ended when I was 21. So me and my ex had broken up, but we were still very close. We had been best friends because we did everything together for years. So we had been best friends for so many years, and just because our romantic relationship was over did not mean that we were suddenly enemies. And we still were kind of there for each other during the splitting up process. And we officially broke up in March. And his birthday was in April. And keep in mind, we broke up because of something he did, okay? We broke up in March. In April, it was his birthday. He was going through a really bad time mentally, as was I. And so, of course, not of course, because this is really, I would say, not standard for most people. but I wanted to be there for him and help him have a special birthday, even though, you know, our life was over and our life together was over. And so for his birthday, we went to a hotel together at the beach, and it was low-key very sad, but also we both did our best to act like everything was normal, like as if we were still married. And in a way that kind of made it more sad, but also kind of beautiful. And so we had a good time, as good as we could in those circumstances. But yeah, we spent those days together acting as if we were together and everything. And so a few months passed. During this time, I had gotten my own apartment, and he was living with, I guess he moved in with his friend and his wife. And we still would see each other all the time, and I would hang out over there sometimes. He would come visit me. He helped me move. We were still very much in each other's lives. And my birthday, obviously, is in September. And so he said he would spend my birthday with me. And I don't know what we were gonna do. We were probably just gonna go to a restaurant and watch movies for the rest of the day. And yeah. And I expected it to kind of be the same vibe as his birthday, which was, you know, trying to make it special, but low-key still a little sad, right? And so it was a few days before my birthday, and he texted me and told me that he was going to go to Mexico on my birthday, which is a random time in September that makes no sense for him to take a trip unrelated to me. And he pretended like, he was like, oh yeah, I can cancel it if you really care about your birthday. And I said, yeah, cancel it please. And then he said, oh no, I can't. So he was pretending that he would cancel it. And so and again, this was a few days before my birthday. And sure enough, he went to Mexico with his friend and his friend's wife and another guy, and partied, hung out with girls, which is all fine if it was not on my birthday. Again, like the most random day out of the whole year, and he never went to Mexico. So it wasn't like this was a normal thing. He specifically went to Mexico on my birthday on purpose. And so I was alone on my birthday. I did go out with my mom in the morning, which was really nice, for breakfast. But then I told her that I was gonna go and do stuff with friends. And I told my friends that I was going to do stuff with my family because I just felt so sad. So I didn't really want to be with people. And I just went home and watched TV in bed. So sad for the whole day, for the rest of the day. And it felt very depressing and sad. Mostly because of the betrayal. But anyways. So yeah, that was my worst birthday. And my best birthday was, I think it was my 9th birthday. I was raised really religiously, and we went to this church. Like, my parents already went there when I was born, and I was raised going there 4 times a week my entire childhood until I was about 12 or 13. And we had a birthday party for me, which was very, like, I think I had 2 birthday parties that I remember that were specifically for me. Maybe more, but it was, different. And we did it at the church in the gymnasium, and all the homeschool families came because we were homeschooled, and there was like 5 big families that all had 5 or 6 kids, including my family. They had 6 kids, and everyone came. They brought me presents. I remember someone gave me I guess it's a merry-go-round, but made out of gummy. So it was like a carousel with the horses and the little pole up to the top thing at the bottom. But it was a gummy one. And yeah, people gave me presents, and we had bubblegum ice cream, and we played that game where everyone makes a line and they say red rover, send Eden right over, and you run across. I don't remember how it works, but it was the best. And I was wearing a giant princess hat, a purple princess hat, and I felt very special on that day. So I'm fairly certain that that was my best birthday. So far. But yeah. What is your best and worst birthday story? I feel like birthdays are just a time to baby yourself a little bit, be there for your inner child, and yeah, just be kind to yourself. Which I try to do all of the time, but especially on my birthday. But okay, so now I'm going to talk about why I deleted my dating apps. Mostly, I'm talking about this because I just did it recently, and I thought it could be a good title because it's mysterious, because you wonder why did you? So the reason is that dating apps can be really fun because it's easy, especially when you are an introvert, and more than that, you are a recluse, a homebody, and you have no sort of community in real life yet. And sometimes you're missing out on that social connection. And if you download a dating app, you can look through a bunch of people, make a connection, and then hang out with them if you want to. And it just feels very easy. But problem is that I'm not looking for a relationship, but I'm also celibate. I'm not looking for a hookup either. And so I was kind of doing it subconsciously, but also I was aware of it I was kind of doing it just to meet those social / human connection needs. But then I realized, like, this is a waste of time, because if I do meet somebody that I like, they don't want to be friends. They want to date, hook up, whatever. And I don't want that at this moment in my life. And so it sounds really obvious. It's like, duh. If you don't want that, then why are you putting yourself in a position where that is the logical outcome? So I finally realized, like, you know what? I'm gonna stop wasting my energy on something that I don't even want at this point in my life. Because I have goals and I have stuff that I'm working on, and also, like, a relationship is something that, in order for me to have a connection with somebody, it needs to be a very special kind of person. And I mean that in the way of, it would need to be somebody very open-minded and intelligent and aware, that I could connect with on a mental and spiritual level. And that's not really something you can pick out by swiping through pictures. And it's also not something that I'm in any rush to find, because I don't see it as necessary. I see it more as, that would be nice, but I don't need another person in order to feel complete or safe. And I think that second part was something that was not true for me for my whole life until recently. I think I always felt unsafe unless I had somebody else, a partner, a man. But I am working on my limiting beliefs, and, you know, the more I become aware and grow, the more I realize what I actually want. And once you know what you want, it becomes hard to ignore when you are doing actions that directly go against what you want. Like, for example, if I say that my energy and my focus is the most valuable thing that I have, and I want to put it towards my vision and the direction that I want to go in, I say that, but then I waste my energy, I don't know, scrolling Reddit or random things for 12 hours, or, you know, going on dating apps and matching with people that it's not a representative of who I would connect with now. It's more representative of who I used to connect with back when I was a different person, less evolved in my journey, and let's be honest, back when I would drink, I would mingle with, more people who were in that kind of vibe, which there's nothing wrong with, but I just am not, that's not what I like to do anymore, so it would be weird for me to put myself in the environments that I don't even resonate with, So, yeah. And I don't know. I think also it's because I do want to be more social, and I want to have a community in real life, and I want to talk to people, but I want to do it in a platonic way, which it's weird because it feels more difficult for me to have platonic connections, whereas it's a lot easier for me, just being honest, to have friendships with people that are interested in me romantically, because I know what they want and I know the dynamic and I understand it and I know how to act within it. But I haven't really had a lot of platonic, and I'm talking about like with other women. I haven't had a lot of like actual deep women friends in a platonic way, and I think that's what I crave, but it actually is a lot scarier than just matching with a random dude and, going on a date and talking about whatever for 2 hours. Making women friends is terrifying because I don't know what they want. I don't know, what I would bring to the table in a platonic connection, which I know how that sounds. It sounds sad. I don't know. I know how it sounds, but it's the truth. And I'm working on it. And yeah, I'm just kind of historically throughout my life, I've kind of been a person who keeps to myself because I have a very low tolerance for betrayal. And when I was even when I was a kid in the homeschool group, and in high school, and the 1 year I went to middle school, I did notice, people, girls, talking shit or being fake, and I don't know, I just never really got super close with anyone, to a best friend level. I never really, resonated with anyone on a deep, deep level. It was more surface level. And so, yeah, I don't know, I just never really had that close platonic connection with anyone. And then when I was married, I started dating that guy when I was 15, and I moved in with him when I was 15. and he became my best friend, and I really didn't even want friends other than him, and so I didn't really have any. And you know, for me, that was easier because we were close in that romantic relationship type way, and so I felt like the connection was more clear, and we could talk about anything or mostly anything, and yeah, it just felt a lot more comfortable. And then when we broke up, I mean, I've definitely had female friends, but in a more like, again, like never a deep way where I would, you know, talk to them about like real deep things. It would be more surface level. And I've tried Bumble BFF, which is kind of like a dating app for friends, and a lot of women use it to make women friends. And you know, I've talked to a couple women on there, but again, it's hard for it to feel organic, and I feel like maybe I'm a little too harsh when it comes to friend connections versus men connections. Like, men connections, I would, in the past, not anymore, but I would give them a lot more chances. Like, they would do one weird thing and I'd, it's fine. Another weird thing, and I'd be like, at least it's funny. Another weird thing, and I'd be like, at least he's honest, you know? But if it was a friend connection with a woman, if she did like, I mean, not one thing, but if it was a couple things, I would start thinking like, oh, you know, this isn't gonna work. It's not gonna work, and I don't wanna waste my energy. And so it would kind of fade out. And I think also because I don't really feel like I'm good at the whole thing that a lot of girls do with each other, women. The whole like fawning over each other thing. I find it disingenuous and, to be honest, nauseating in person. I don't mind, like, I'll comment on other women's posts and say, you know, they're beautiful or normal, like, truthful things, but I don't really like it when people are overly complimenting each other in person in a way that doesn't feel genuine. I don't know if you know what I mean, because I'm not talking about when it's genuine. I love a genuine compliment, and I try to do that to other women when I see them out and I notice something about their outfit or the way they look genuinely and I want to say it. I will sometimes. And it makes me really happy when people do that to me. But I'm talking about, like, I think you know what I'm talking about. When people are just seemingly really fake and overly complimentary. And I don't know. In a way, it almost makes me feel like is that why I can't connect with them, is because I'm not kissing their ass? And I know that's really overgeneralizing and reductive, because obviously not all women are the same, just like not all men are the same, not all people are the same. You can't generalize people based off of things like that. And I know that there are other women that are like me, but I guess maybe like the compliments and swooning is kind of a way that brings women together who don't know each other yet. It's a way of showing, like, I'm nice, are you nice? And then you get closer, and then you can talk about real stuff. But I just feel uncomfortable in that situation. So, I don't know. I do want to start with some hobbies. I have several on my list of things that I am planning on getting into gradually. And I think I will be able to create some real life connections in a natural way through those. So I don't even think it's something that I need to overanalyze, but alas, I do it anyways. But yeah, hopefully you know what I mean and this did not come off wrong. I didn't really plan to say any of that. But it is true. So that's why I don't use dating apps. I'm in a new chapter now, you know. I'm a different type of person, and I am discovering platonic connections for the first time. But just kidding, but also kind of not. So we will see how that goes. Yeah, I've been trying to focus on, when I speaking to the people that I want to hear me, instead of speaking to the people who will misunderstand me anyways. And what that means to me is, like, sometimes I will post a video and people will comment just completely not understanding and not giving me the benefit of the doubt at all. And those comments can get in my head, and in future videos, or even when I'm just thinking of ideas, I imagine from that person's perspective, and I think, oh, well, if I say this, then they're gonna think this, or if I do this video, they're gonna think it's because of this, because I already know, based off of, you know, various comments I've gotten, I know how certain types of people take it, and I kind of became aware of this, the fact that I was doing this the other day, and I reminded myself to come back to center and firstly speak from the heart. So, you know, if I do say something in a way that is inadvertently offensive, I didn't mean to, and no malice was intended, and me knowing that is enough. Even if other people get butthurt, it's like, I didn't mean to make you butthurt, but also it's about when I speak, I want to envision people who understand it watching. Like, those are the people I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the people who are just gonna disagree no matter what. Those people's opinion is already made up, and so I'm not gonna try to change myself to fit their standards when I don't even agree with what they're saying. So instead, I'm going to be myself, and, you know, the people who get it, and those who don't, which is 100% okay. Easier said than felt, but, I don't know. That reminds me of something also, which is I'm an INFJ, which is a personality type from Myers-Briggs personality test, and I think this is something that a lot of INFJs might relate to, which is, and other people too, I think a lot of people will relate, being able to kind of see from other people's perspectives almost no matter what. Like, I can put myself in anyone's shoes if they tell me, like if they tell me their perspective, my brain can easily switch to see things from their perspective. I need the information first, obviously, so them telling me how they feel in an honest way would be enough for me to see from their perspective. And again, that's with anyone, so even the most fucked up, horrible person, like, I can switch to their perspective and understand. Obviously, I don't agree with it, but I can see why they do what they do. Even though it's wrong and I don't agree. But, the issue with this is that when you are a person who is able to understand other people's perspectives, you can end up in a lot of bad situations, because when the other person tries to explain their side, it makes sense and you understand. But when you explain your point of view, they don't understand. And so you have two people, two perspectives. Two people understand perspective A, only one person understands perspective B. Which perspective is gonna win? Perspective A will always win, which means unless you stand up for your own perspective, regardless of the other person understanding or not, your perspective will always get steamrolled and forgotten and disregarded. And, when I was younger, I wasn't fully aware of this, and so it can make you get in your head and think. You can get gaslit into feeling like the other person's perspective is more true because you understand where they're coming from. They don't understand where you're coming from, so it makes you second guess yourself. and think like, okay, I guess their perspective does make sense, and they don't think mine makes sense, so maybe they're right. And this happens a lot. And so finally, over many years, I've gotten to a point where I can understand the perspective that another person is giving me. And sometimes I do get new insights from it. But a lot of the time I choose to disregard. Even though I understand why they believe what they believe, I disagree. Not for them. They can believe whatever. But I'm not going to accept their perspective to override my equally valid perspective. Nor do I expect them to allow my perspective to override their perspective. Both perspectives can simultaneously exist and be valid. And, it's very obvious, but it took me a long time to kind of arrive at the point where I felt confident enough in my own perspective to stand in it and not give it up so easily to the first overbearing, controlling person who comes along shouting in my ears. Anyways, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was relaxing, interesting, and good. I forgot to mention I have Jill here with me. Jill the reindeer. She's a reindeer. Also, another thing that I have realized is that I am a person who prefers soft-spoken. Watching it and doing it. I wasn't sure before, but now, because I just did a video all whispered in Portuguese. That'll be up on Saturday. And it was a good video. I liked it, but I was like, I don't know. Something about soft spoken gives me more tingles. It's just that timbre, I like it. So, but I will do whispers for you, because I know some of you like whispers. So I will do some whispers for you, and I will practice doing even better whispers, and I will work on my voice modulation, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you for being here. I love you, and if you made it through this whole video, wow, great job. Extra good luck for you. You can probably hear Lexi, my dog, furiously snoring. So that's extra good luck for 7 years. Just for you. Anyways, bye. Ciao. See you later. Farewell.